BYB Bare Knuckle hits the Big Easy for the first time Saturday, July 13th from the John A. Alario Event Center for BYB 28 Bourbon Street Brawl. Two of the biggest and baddest bare knuckle fighters in the world today go toe-to-toe inside the mighty Trigon as undefeated BYB heavyweight champion Hurricane Ike Villanueva takes on #1 contender, the Cuban assassin, Gustavo Trujillo, for both the BYB heavyweight belt and the historic Police Gazette World Diamond Belt. Our co-main event, former BYB lightweight champion Monica Medina gets her wish and steps into the Trigon against undefeated Helen Peralta for the inaugural BYB Featherweight World Championship. Catch these matches and more live. Visit BYBExtreme.com for tickets and information.
Welcome to the Original Fighter's Voice. I'm your host, Don Mcguire. We got a hell of a show tonight. I apologize for starting 30 minutes late, but we had some technical difficulties, and we got them all fixed out. As soon as our guest, hey, there's our guest. Everything works out perfect. Welcome, King David Estrada. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
I've been wanting you on the show for a long time, and then today kind of took a crap, bro, because my roof was supposed to be finished yesterday, and then, you know, as you can hear them hammering now, but you know, my wife, our women always find everything, brother, and it's like about 6 o'clock this morning, my wife wakes me up and goes, "Why can I see sunlight in our garage?" And I went, "This ain't good." So I jumped up and I go out in the garage and I push into my attic back. And needless to say, within 45 minutes, all the owners of the company and everybody were out here. They had to rip all the whole roof off, and they're starting it again. But you know, life is good. I always know God has my back. So 100%. Eventually, hey, we're here. We made it happen anyway. I brought you on here because I wanted to tell your story, bro. And you know, I know you were getting ready to go on Dottie's show in the UK, and I wanted a chance to share you here because what you do for people in life and what you've done for yourself in life is an inspiration. What was it in the heart of a young David Estrada that led you, you know, to this path? Because I like to use the terminology, you know, you're on bended knee and you put that first stone down to create the path that David Estrada is going to walk on. What had you put that first stone down, brother?
Well, my grandfather and two of my uncles were boxers. They were Golden Glove champs, Chicago Golden Glove champs. They never turned pro. Like my grandfather had to get a job and feed the family, and then same thing basically happened like with my uncles. So they never tried to get me involved in boxing. It's just one day, I don't know, I just got this idea in my head because I used to hear stories about my grandfather and my uncles, you know, and like they were bad dudes, you know what I'm saying? Like in the ring and in the street. So I was just like, man, I'm gonna be like them. Like,
oh no. Uh-oh. I think we got a call. If it wasn't for technical difficulties, life would. We'll get him back. I think he just got a call. Let me tell him to join back in. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but I'll get him back in here. It's just a lot of problems, you know. I'll tell him to jump back in. Damn. Okay. I apologize for the roof, but I am not gonna, you know, miss out with David. So I apologize for the technical difficulties, but we're gonna make this show happen. If not, I ain't gonna do the champ like this. We'll do him right. We'll do him right. I don't know what happened. It's kind of a trip. Like it froze on his end. We'll get him back in, man. I'm not worried about it. We'll get him back in. Oh, I apologize. Yeah, this isn't the way he's. Uh-oh, he sent me a message. Oh, crap. I sent the message to the wrong person. Give me a second. We'll get Estrada back in. It's been one of them days. I apologize. Oh, he's already here. Here we go.
All right, so okay, so where did we leave off?
We started where, what was it that had you put that stone down on bended knee? What? Yeah.
So my grandfather and two of my uncles were boxers. They were all Chicago Golden Glove champs.
What the hell? Man, I can't do a show like this. I'm not sure. I don't do shows like this, and I apologize. This, I don't know if it's because they're beating on my roof or he's just getting phone calls or if we'll give it a few seconds here. First of all, I'd like to apologize to all of you. How's everybody doing? We'll talk until we get David Estrada back on here. What's up, Becker? What's up, Paul? We'll get Estrada back on here in a second. I don't know what's going on. He jumped back on, but then I think he keeps getting phone calls. I'll tell him to jump in again. If not, I'm not going to do a champion like this or you guys like this because it just doesn't. It's not very professional. But give us a second. We'll get David Estrada back on here. I don't know what's going on. We've been trying for the last half an hour just to get him in here because when you have an iPhone that doesn't correlate well with some of these programs. But we'll get him back in. Give me 1 second, and hopefully I appreciate it. Hey, Coach, I'm trying to. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna call Estrada and see what happened. I apologize. We'll go to a commercial break. Be right back.
BYB Bare Knuckle hits the Big Easy for the first time Saturday, July 13th from the John A. Alario Event Center for BYB 28 Bourbon Street Brawl. Two of the biggest and baddest bare knuckle fighters in the world today go toe-to-toe inside the mighty Trigon as undefeated BYB heavyweight champion Hurricane Ike Villanueva takes on #1 contender, the Cuban assassin Gustavo Trujillo, for both the BYB heavyweight belt and the historic Police Gazette World Diamond Belt. Our co-main event, former BYB lightweight champion Monica Medina gets her wish and steps into the Trigon against undefeated Helen Peralta for the inaugural BYB Featherweight World Championship. Catch these matches and more live. Visit BYBExtreme.com for tickets and information.
Third time's a charm. We got David Estrada. We're back, so.
Yo.
Are you getting phone calls? Is that what happened?
Yeah, man. Every time a fucking phone call comes in, this shit gets fucked up. Excuse my language, but
yeah. Hey, turn your notifications off on your phone, and it won't do that, bro.
Okay, let me see. How do I do that? I don't.
On the volume button, you just turn it down, and then hit those three little dots, and then I already lost them again. We'll get them back.
Yo, I'm here, bro. I don't know what to do, man. Let's just.
We'll just roll with it. Let's just roll with it, bro.
Okay,
I don't care.
All right, so I'll pick up where we left off. My grandfather and two of my uncles were Chicago Golden Glove champs. Nobody ever tried to get me into boxing. One day I just came home from school. And I just told my dad, I said, hey, Dad, can you find me a boxing gym? And he said, you want to box? I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, I'll find you a gym. I was 14 years old. And my brother, he's younger than me. Usually, the little brother always wants to do what the big brother does. So my brother was like, yeah, me too. I want to box too. So my dad found us a gym, and it was Brooks Park. We went to Brooks Park. My first trainers was a old Italian man and an old Irish man, and they were from the old school, like I'm talking about, put you in front of on a line and make you throw the jab and the fucking right hand like a million times in a row till you get that right. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. But after the first day in the boxing gym, I knew that's what I was gonna be when I grew up. I just one day in the boxing gym, and I told myself I'm gonna be a fighter when I grow up, and that was it. Like I didn't, nothing else interested me ever since that first day in the boxing gym. I never wanted to be anything else.
You know, it's tremendous to watch what you've created in this sport. You know, and it's like I have a lot of wrestlers that come on my show because I do shows in multiple genres. I work with multiple promotions. And you hear these guys talk about when they came up in wrestling and what their mentors mean to them. What kind of mentor was Angelo Dundee to you, David? Because, you know, you look at wrestling, you got Dan Gable, and you look at boxing and you have Angelo Dundee. And they're two of the most proficient men in their own right in their own sport. What was it about Angelo Dundee? Because it's kind of whimsical because he helps you win a bare knuckle fight, but you know at the same time he's one of the greatest at what he does. What was that relationship like with you and Angelo Dundee as a mentor?
It felt being around him kind of felt like having, like I'm around like family member, older family members. There's a certain way that I conduct myself, like I talk a certain way and act a certain way because I'm in front of my elders, and there's certain kind of respect. That's kind of how it was with Angelo. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't talk like I talk when I'm around my boys or do things I do.
Yeah,
It was different. It's like being like a parent or an uncle or something. But as far as other things, man, it's like, yeah, obviously he taught me a lot about boxing, but he taught me a lot about life too. His famous saying that everybody probably knows is, "It doesn't cost nothing to be nice."
yeah,
And that stuck with me. After I remember, like he told me that a couple times, and I remember one night I rushed to the mall because I was trying to get a pair of kicks before the mall closed because I was gonna go out that, and it was like 10 minutes till closing time. So I was basically running to Foot Locker, and somebody stopped me and started talking to me. In my head, I'm like, fuck, like I gotta hurry up and get these kicks. They're gonna close. I'm gonna have no kicks to go out tonight. But then I remembered, I heard Angelo's voice in the back of my head. It doesn't cost nothing to be nice. I don't care how busy you are, how important you think you are. He goes, if somebody wants a few seconds of your time, drop whatever you're doing, take that picture with them, shake their hand, give them a few words. And then I was like, boom, okay. So I shook their hand. I took a picture with them. They thanked me. I was on my way. I still made it to Foot Locker, still got my kicks, and still went out and had a good time. And that always stuck with me. I was like, you know what? Angelo taught me a valuable lesson. What if I would have been one of those assholes and been like, hey, I ain't got time, and just kept going? Like, then I would have been known as an asshole. I don't want to be known as that. I want to be known as who I am, which is a cool, down to earth person, just a regular person.
man, we're having all kinds of problems tonight.
Oh,
It's on that was on my end, bro. That ain't you. You know, I want to take you back to '99 because you what's that?
did that get recorded though?
Yeah, we're live right now. We're
Oh,
live all
okay.
around the world right now. You know, I kind of want to take you back to see, you know, they say I'm one of the last photographers to come from the golden era in boxing. And what this sport has kind of gone to is, I don't know, it's kind of dismayed me. You know, I got to sit with quite a few legends in boxing and we had a discussion. And the sport, the way it is, one thing we need to realize is it's never going to stay the sport that we came in at. Time changes, people evolve. What is it in David Estrada right now? Because what I see you doing is picking up where Angelo Dundee left off. What I see you doing with other fighters is giving them the knowledge, the tutelage that your coaches and the people that you believed in gave to you. It's hard for a fighter like you that's 30. You got what I believe 42 fights, correct? And you're 30-6.
Yeah, 36, and then I got the three bare knuckle fights. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So for you to take away from a moment away from your career to give back and create the future of this sport, what was it the deciding factor in the heart, David? Because you're young, you can still fight. I mean, you still got talent, but you chose to give others your ability and the knowledge that was taught to you. What was in the heart of David Estrada that had you do so, brother?
Well, it was that's a funny question, man, because so a good friend of mine, which is the head coach of Sweatbox, Javier Centeno, every time I used to come into town, I would hit him up, and then I would just, tell him, hey, man, I'll be by the gym. I just want to stay in shape. Be like, yeah, come through. He actually learned a lot from Angelo Dundee as well. As far as a mentor, he was his mentor as well. But he became a trainer a while back, and like I said, whenever I would be in town, I would go to his gym and I would train, and I would spar with the guys he was training and all that. And here I was supposed to be here just for the holidays about 2 years ago. And while I was here, I hit him up and I went by the gym and I trained. And then he said, look, man, he's like, I don't know what your plans are. I don't know what you're doing. But he said, he said, I would love to have you here as my assistant coach. He's like, if you think about it and you decide that this is a route you want to take, the door's open for you. And I was like, oh man, thanks for the offer and everything, but man, I'm still gonna fight. I'm still fighting. He's like, all right, well, just keep it in the back of your head and let me know. And then so I went and I told him what they had, what the offer was, and then everybody was like, man, he's like, this would be a great opportunity for you. I think you'll be great at it. Like you have so much experience and you've been training people for years already, because I've been training, people in boxing for like personal training, or I've helped train amateurs in the past and this and that. So I already had some experience as a trainer. So then, like a few weeks went by, and then he asked me again. He said, have you thought about what I told you? And I was like, yeah, I thought about it, but I still got, I still got some fights in me, man. I got I still need to get these last few fights, out the way. I can't train fighters and fight at the same time. And he's like, no, you can't. He's like, you got to make up your mind. So then whatever, like the holidays were over with, and then I was about to leave and go back to LA because I was living in LA at the time. And then I thought about it a little bit more, and I said, you know what, man? Like, it's not easy for me to get fights right now, because like I was actually training. Me and Matt Vanda were supposed to be the main event at the Denver Coliseum, and that fight, like the whole card fell through, so it never happened. But I was in shape and I trained hard for 2 months, and I was ready to go, and it never happened. So then, taking it back to this conversation with JC, I thought about it and I said, you know what? I said, it's hard for me to get fights. I just spent who knows how many thousands of dollars training for a fight that never happened. So all that money went out the window. I'm like, I got no promoter, so nothing's guaranteed. I might as well just go with it and like, go with it. So I told him I'll do it. And then he asked me, he's like, okay, so the next step, give me a date that you can show up and start. And I told him I'll be here February 1st. That's my start date. And we shook on it, and I've been there ever since as his assistant coach.
That's dope, man, because a lot of people don't know, man, and unless you're really a boxing fan or really deep into the sport, it's hard to walk away from being an active fighter, but you look at these young little mijos and mijas, and it's like, it's like with me, I've been in this industry for 40 years. I've never charged to shoot a kid's fight. And if I bring these kids on, man, I find kids that can't be found. And then I bring them, I watch them, I bring them on my show, and then I get them put into bigger gyms. I get them bigger and better opportunities. I mean, I'm getting kids from Missoula, Montana, and bringing them to the West Coast to get into, a wild card or whatever. Opportunities that they never would get. Look back when you were a young man, who was the one that gave David Estrada his first opportunity?
David Estrada. I'll tell you how that happened, because before Angelo was in the picture, or before, I never had Angelo. He was he's the man when it comes as far as boxing trainer, right? As far as management, I never had a manager until later in my career, after I already had my big fights, and then I was trying to make a comeback and get back up there to like the top 3. So I really paved my own way as far as that. And the way I did that was I basically ruined people's investments. That's how I got up there. So I had my first I think my first loss was my 14th fight, and that was to Ishe Smith. But leading up to that point, I had fought numerous undefeated fighters. I fought guys like, it was like whoever offered me, that's who I fought. I didn't have no manager, I didn't have no promoter, no Olympic background. I was just a kid that had heart, that was willing to fight anybody.
Yeah, that's dope. Well, because I vibe with you, bro, because I was going to take it there, because I know your record, but in 2005, and this is proof, we're only in 2024, but in 2005, you fought, I believe his name's Chris Smith.
Yeah.
And I think he was 19-0.
Yep.
And the crazy thing about it, when I looked at your record, because I know your career for the most part, you are correct. You mostly fought undefeated fighters, whereas everybody else, that comes into the sport in your era, what they had to get to, like Kelly Pavlik and all of them, they had to get to 20, 21, 22 fights before they got a true test. What was it in the heart of David Estrada that said, no, I want the best right out the gate? Because from when you started, I mean, if you jump to your second fight, or your third fight with Bobby Butters, right. I mean, you could jump, you could just keep jumping. Matias Rios, undefeated. I mean, all right in front of me. I mean, Luke Lil. I mean, everybody that you fought wasn't a can, and that's what I respected about your career. And people can get pissed off at maybe one, but a lot of people also don't realize that a lot of fighters go to Mexico and go to Tijuana, mm-hmm. and they pad the record. What had David Estrada do it the right way, brother? Because you could bang, but you fought mostly undefeated fighters, like you say. So why didn't you go to Tijuana like everybody else and pad your record? Why did you go the hard route?
Well, I mean, like even if I had the opportunity to take the easy route at that point in time in my life, with the way I was and my mentality, I'd have been like, fuck that. I'm not gonna do that's some weak ass shit. Like, I like to be a man's man. Like I got a lot of pride in everything that I do. So, but the truth is, I had no choice, and I didn't care if I had a choice because at that point in time, I didn't even know that I was doing it the right way or the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? I was, I was, I was just who I was. You know what I'm saying? But like my second pro fight. Tell me who else you know that has been, ranked top 3 that fought a guy that has 17 wins and 17 losses with 1 draw in their second pro fight. I don't know anybody.
Yeah, and well, I don't know anybody in the beginning of their career that stepped up and fought Sugar Shane Mosley like you did.
Right?
You
Yeah.
know, you got a lesson, but you know what? Just what one thing I don't understand about boxing is, they say, okay, it's a loss. I don't like records. I really don't, because let's say me and David Estrada fight today, and I beat you. Okay, I had a great day, but it doesn't necessarily mean tomorrow is going to be that way. And see, the way I look at it, because I've been here for 40 years, and a lot of the older guys feel the same way. If you ask a true world champion what they think, they're going to say, yeah, I won on my best day. But not every day is your best day, because you look at Helen Peralta. In bare knuckle, she beat Christine Ferreira. She's the only one to beat Christine Ferreira in bare knuckle. Christine Ferreira is going around calling herself the GOAT. How can you call yourself the GOAT if you've been beat by Helen Peralta? So I had Helen on my show, and Helen said, yeah, I beat her that day because I was on that day. But if it would have happened the next day or the following day, I can't say what's going to happen. So the reason I don't like records is because you don't know when David Estrada is going to be on. You feel it, you know it in your heart, but up until the fight, you don't know the outcome. So I like the way she put it. I like the analogy. I can beat you on my best day.
Yeah, yeah. No, that
So
because I mean, to be like to speak honestly, like I I should have beat everybody that I lost to, but I didn't, and it's because of I beat myself. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, like really, I really beat myself. The only fight that I really feel like I lost was the one to Mosley, and that was a great fight, but I feel like it was close. I feel like it was a lot closer than what the judges had it, but I still feel I lost, and I feel I lost because of the the factor of the experience factor. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was a multiple division, multiple time world champ. He had more wins by knockout than I had fights when I fought him. So I mean, that's everything else. I should have beat everybody else that I lost to.
well, the thing about it, I agree with you with the referees. I mean, because I know a way to search. I just found the scorecard for that fight. Chuck Giampa had it 93-97. Richard Houck had it 91-98. Dave Moretti had it 91-99. I don't see I saw the fight. I didn't see it that way.
Right? That's fucking ridiculous. 91-99. That's crazy.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm not kissing your ass or anything, because I don't get fanboyed, but I respect who you are. I respect what you do and what you brought to the ring, and you've also stepped out of it in different genres. How much of your influence did your family have on the growth of David Estrada?
They always supported me 100%. Yeah, especially like my dad. I mean, the whole family always supported me 100%. So I mean that was important. You have your family supporting you, it means a lot, as opposed to somebody who ain't got nobody in their family supporting them. I think that was a great thing to have while I was doing my boxing career.
Yeah. Let's see. what's funny, it's a trip though. I mean, I don't care. I work for the Mosley Foundation just to be, because I'm honest about everything. But see, that's the way I am in the sport. I don't care if you're my homeboy. I don't care if you're my enemy. I'm gonna tell the truth.
Right.
Because if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember the lie. And
Yeah.
this sport is tremendous. What you've done is phenomenal in a lot of ways. Now, I asked you a question earlier, and I wanted to talk about it because it really. I remember the situation, and that's with Boxing 360.
Yeah.
You know, I I will not pay him any relevance. What was it in the heart of David Estrada that had you make that statement and come out against Boxing 360? I know the situation, but I'd like the people to know in your words, brother.
Well, I mean, what they did was basically ruin my life for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? I was mad about it. So I said something about it, but man, that was a bad 3 years, bro. That sucked. Just sitting there, being able to do shit because you're stuck in a bad contract. It was all bad.
How grateful were you to see the 2013, to see the end of that contract, brother?
Oh man, I was so happy when that was over with. I felt like I got my life back.
Because we had technical difficulties and I'm on different spots. One of my brothers, Mr. John Grady, he's a psychologist and a tremendous man of boxing. He says, "Great discussion. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you, brother." And it's like some of these comments aren't. I don't know if it's glitching tonight. I don't know if that's why we had some problems. But Paul Driscoll out of Canada, great friend of Larry Holmes. They call him Little Holmes. He says, "What's up, David?" Another one of my friends just put 5 stars, and another one of my friends out of Canada, he's actually my brother. Brian Holderson. He said, "Good evening, guys." And then we got him, and see, it's like I don't know if it's glitching tonight, but another one out of the East Coast, a good friend of Randy Commish Gordon, tremendous friend of mine in boxing, Steve Schroeder says hello. And now all the comments, of course, are coming in. But the thing about it is, David, what you brought to this sport is second to none. I look at a fighter for their ability, their capability, and what they give back. What was it about your walk in this sport? Because a lot of fighters, I'll just be honest with you. I just got inducted with Evander Holyfield. I respect him as a fighter. As a man, he's a piece of shit. He's rude to little kids. He won't autograph anything. He's just a mean, grumpy old man. He's the only 4-time heavyweight world champion, but that doesn't make you a good person.
Right.
What made David Estrada a good person to the fans?
The way I was raised, and so first is the way I was raised, the way my mom and dad raised me. And then also, like I said, having Angelo for the time that I did have him, like one of the first lessons he taught me was it doesn't cost nothing to be nice,
Okay.
So that always stuck with me. Like I already had that in me, but he put he put that extra stamp on top of it. I'm like, okay, now Angelo's telling me this too. Like, I guess it's gonna take me a lot farther if I do what he says. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, that's in my heart anyway. I'm a nice person. That's just my nature.
Your brother of mine, the man that made this happen, Mr. Robert Hernandez Jr., he says, "Great interview, bro." We've gone through mountains, through streams, across valleys to make this interview happen, and it's neither one of our faults. It's technology. We're just too old for it.
Right. Shit works.
Right. Talk to me about your victory over Orlando Lara. What did that moment mean to you?
It meant a lot because I mean, look, as soon as they offered me that fight, I was like, man, I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna stop him. I already knew it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna train hard. I'm gonna do everything right, and I'm gonna ruin this investment. Another investment ruined. Somebody just lost their money, right? So I already knew what I was going to do. But the thing that made it so much fun was the fact that he was undefeated. He was a Mexican Olympian. And like on paper, like it's supposed to be a win for him. So I'm like, I love these kind of, it's like,
Yeah,
I feed off of that. I'm like, here we go. I'm gonna ruin another investment. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
I love that. That's dope, bro. I'm trying to get this stuff fixed so we can get more people watching the show because it's on multiple channels and obviously we went early tonight. You know, what was it like for you to win your first title? What did that? Uh-oh. What did
No,
it mean
we're
having
back.
that belt? I can't hear you.
Man, it meant a lot. Like when
Hey,
they,
David.
can you hear me?
Can't hear
Let me see. I could hear you.
you. Go out and then come back in.
Okay. All right.
I don't know what's going on, technical difficulties, but he's going to get back on. We still got a long way to go. Uh, John, I'm going to get to your question. Here he's back. Whoop. Por la chingada. I'm trying, bro. Give me a second. I think the studio's tripping. I don't even think it's you. You there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right.
All right, we'll just jump in here real quick. John Grady says, Mr. Estrada, what was the most meaningful fight of your career?
Oh wow, that's a good question. You know what? I don't know, man. I think it's the Mosley fight because that was my only pay-per-view fight that I had. No, actually, that was my first pay-per-view fight that I had, and just the venue and the amount of people that were there, it was like, this is it, man. I'm at the top, and it was a great fight. I had a man, I had so much fun in that fight. And then the after party was great. So I mean, I think that'll be a memory that I always have, and it's a great. I think that was the most meaningful points of my career to me.
That's dope, bro. Because the reason I like to do my show this way because everybody knows what you've accomplished. The true fans of David Estrada. I mean, I don't want to share something that they already know. I like to show them the adversity, the triumph, what built you. What was it? If you had to go back in time, David, what was the moment that you felt that you finally arrived, that you felt like you finally have created a name for yourself and now the world was at your beck and call, champ?
That Mosley, that Mosley,
Back to the Mowgli fight.
yeah.
Hey, how hard was it to hit him? Because that dude smiles all the time, bro.
I'm gonna tell you what, it was not easy to hit him because his footwork, man, is excellent. His footwork was excellent, but I remember one time, and he kind of gave me like that head nod, like good shit. I remember I dipped and I caught him with liver shot, but he didn't expect me to throw a jab off of that. So I went boom and I banged him with the jab, and he kind of like he looked at me and he goes, like that was some good shit. And I was like, all right, here.
That was really dope, man. You know, I tell you, I sit back and, because it was just April 28th, 29th, and 30th. And the class I went into, and I'm sitting there going, how in the hell did I get into this class? And I tell you what, the one that the two people, there's actually two people that got inducted with me that really, I really didn't know them that well, but they really impressed me. And one was Sugar Shane Mosley, but the other was Mickey Ward, Irish Mickey Ward. And I was sitting there, and Irish Mickey Ward walks up to me and goes, I don't even know how or why they put me in this Hall of Fame. And I sat back and I realized he's just a humble man. And that's the same way that you are.
Yeah.
Why, who was it Angelo, or who was it in your career that created the humility, the sincerity, the true aspect of the man behind the champion?
It was way before boxing. It was the way I was raised. Like, it didn't matter how high I went in this boxing thing or how much money I made. I was always going to be that same person that my parents raised. You know what I mean? Like, money ain't going to change me. Fame ain't going to change me. I feel like that's some weak ass shit. That means you're fake. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't be the same person that you were before the money and the fame, you phony. I can't live like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, I used to get in trouble. Man, I love that you said that, because I used to get in trouble a lot because I turned down my first few Hall of Fame inductions. I don't get hit. You do. And I don't talk about where I've been. I don't even feel like I deserve to be where I'm at. But then I've had world champions like you tell me I earned it. But I don't know, for some reason in my heart, I didn't get hit in the face. I didn't get hit. So it's like, I think the sport needs to reconfigure, because you look at all the world champions that haven't even been in the Hall of Fame. Most of them die before they even get any recognition. And it's like, I don't know. Robert gets on me about it. A lot of people get on me about it. But man, when you're real, like you said, when you're real, you're real. How does it feel, champ, knowing that you dedicated your whole life to a sport and you may not get acknowledged for it?
You know what? To be honest with you, I really don't care. It doesn't matter to me, because like, if I get acknowledged for it, that's cool. It ain't gonna change my life. You know what I'm saying? They don't give you. I mean, you go to the Hall of Fame. What do they? Like, you're inducted into the Hall of Fame, and that's nice in there. But is it really gonna change your life? No, it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for people like me, I'm a low man on the totem pole, so I just take life as it comes, because I got to feed my family one way or another, one leg or not. I love where John Grady went, but I want to take it in a different aspect. What would you say was the most defining moment for David Estrada out of the ring?
Wow, man, that's a good question. Man, that's good. You kind of stuck with that one. Out of the ring, okay, I'll tell you. When I started money, and things needed to be done to my mother's house, and I was like, don't worry about it. Here's the money. Take care of that. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. When I'm able to be a man and provide.
I like that. That's dope, bro. Because see, a lot of people don't understand that there's people like you, there's people like me. We come up with nothing. And it's always the people in life that come up with nothing that are the ones that are willing to give, the ones that appreciate more, the ones that are willing to help a fellow brother out. And that's one thing about your career that I truly loved about you, bro, is nobody can say that you have never given back. you know, and to see what you're instilling in these young fighters and see the ability to see where they're going. I mean, bro, you're changing part of the new sport that us old timers don't like. I'll be honest with you. I'll just be straight honest with you. I don't really care for boxing anymore. You look at Jake Paul and all these YouTubers and all this crap coming over into our sport. I don't
Right.
dig on that, bro. I like when back in the old days, you stand in the middle of the ring, a mano a mano, and you just fight. But it isn't that way anymore. I want to get your thought perception on these kids that are coming up in this generation though, because they get to 8-0, 9-0, and they want sponsors, they want uh, a world title fight, they want the world by its balls. What advice would you, as a coach and as a former world champion, what advice would you give to these young kids that are demanding a title shot at 8-0, 7-0, 9-0?
I would laugh at them and tell them your lane and keep working hard, and one of these days you'll get there, but that time ain't here yet. That's it. I tell them that it's all gonna come with the hard work. Keep working hard, keep winning, and you ain't gonna have to look for that because they're gonna come looking for you.
Hey man, I like that, bro. Brent Bauer says, I agree, and he said it's a great interview. I mean, we're catching up. We had some difficulties in the beginning, but hey, if life was perfect, you know, this young man right here, Glick, is a tremendous. He's a boxer who went to bare knuckle. He just actually beat a world champion his last Friday. He says them questions speak to the soul, don't it? He says, I remember getting stumped with Don's questions softens the heart. So my question soften your heart, bro?
A little bit, yeah.
We know we're not even. We got about 20 minutes and we'll be done. But this is a young man coming up, and see what's great. I'm glad John commented on here because he's a tremendous young man. He got hurt, took 10 years off from boxing, and came back, and it didn't even look like he skipped a beat, bro. It didn't even look like he missed a beat, and
That's something special right there because a 10-year layoff is yeah, that's something
that's
special.
a career killer.
Hat off to him for being able to accomplish that.
Yeah, and the kid has a great heart, man. I just love the kid to death, man. And I don't say that about anybody because it's my show. I pay for it. I'll say what I want,
Right.
you know. And it's
Say whatever you want.
and a brother of mine who has a show of his own, Bill Stacks. He says, "Great show, Don." And he put 100%. Then he says, "Yo, Don and King David." And then let me see if I missed anything else. Try to catch up. It's glitching tonight, but oh, John Bernard says, "Mad respect for you, champ."
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
See, that's what I want to get in your head a little bit because, yeah, I'm 1-0 as a pro, and my leg got amputated, so I couldn't continue the career. And see, what I'm fascinated with this bare knuckle, and it kind of caught me because, I mean, I've been in tons of street fights just like you. And so when these women started coming on my show, for some reason, Jamie Driver, I had her on my show, and she just wanted to fight, and I wanted to know how bad did it hurt to get hit in bare knuckle. Well, she said you don't feel it in the fight, but 2, 3, 4 days afterwards, you try to go and eat. You can't eat. How was it for you, man? Because you crossed over from boxing into bare knuckle. So how was that for you, champ? Because you fought in BKB.
The thing is, I was blessed when I fought it because, you know, it was funny after all the fights were over with and everything. Like, you see guys, they got broken hands. Everybody got gashes in their face and shit. My hands were perfect and I was clean. So I was blessed, but like you said, we've been in a lot of street fights. It's a street fight, but it's different because it's a street fight against a person that knows how to fight. So, like I said, I was blessed. I came out with no cuts and no broken hands. That's because my cut man was excellent at wrapping hands and obviously working cuts that never happened. Preventive maintenance. But it's what she said was right. Like when your adrenaline's pumping, you don't feel nothing. You know what I'm saying? You don't feel it, but you feel it after, not during though.
And it's weird because it's not that way for everybody. But take you back to December of last year. One of the greatest fights in bare knuckle history was Mark Irwin versus Julio Tenori, the Mexican champion against the BYB champion, and it was great because Mark Irwin was the champ, and I didn't like the kid, but I'm with a promotion. He fights with our promotion, and he'd flipped me off when I first met him, so I had him on my show. And the first thing I asked him was, "Bro, when I met you, why did you flip me off?" He said, "Well, they told me that, bro. I work for the promotion, so they didn't tell you to flip me off, dog." But he apologized. But I'd never seen two men step into the Trigon, and this dude had a broken jaw. Looked like a grenade went off in his ear. He had a hematoma that gave him a double head, but yet he wouldn't quit.
Yeah.
And bro, I had one of my brothers that's a jiu-jitsu practitioner. He just won Worlds, and he came back from Abu Dhabi and went to the fight with me. And we're both going, how in the hell is this man still going? What is it about being a champion and lose? And you know you're in the middle of the fight. You know you're not ahead. You know you're losing. What is it in the heart of a warrior like you, David, that won't let you quit?
Pride. Pride. That's just one word. One word for it is pride. It's like I remember like I've been down in my career, I think about 3 times. And it like on my way down, I'm already knowing that I'm getting up. I'm like, fuck, I ain't never gonna end a fight on my back. You know what I'm saying? Like I just know I gotta get up and I gotta fucking fight. And now I gotta try to kill this motherfucker because he just buried. You know what I'm saying? It's pride. It's just the pride, but it's not only the pride, it's I guess it is the pride. Like who like if you quit, that affects your pride. Your pride causes you not to quit. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I feel. Like there ain't no quitting me. I can't. If I ever quit anything, I'll feel like a bitch. I can't quit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's for me. I'm saying I'm speaking for myself. I don't think I could live with myself if I quit. Like I can't. I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm not a quitter either, bro. And I guess that's like why my boss loves me, and a lot of people say I inspire them. It's like here. I'll show you real quick if I can. I've been on these things for 4 years. I've only walked a month and a half in the last 4 years, and it's like I had to go through 13 surgeries back to back, and I got my prosthetic, and then they changed my leg, and then I had to learn how to walk all over again. 2 days 2 days ago, I walked for the first time in a year.
God bless.
And
bless.
well, the thing of it is you can tell the people, with more validity than I am. It doesn't matter if you got a 10,000-pound rock on you or a 2-pound rock on you. It's the person inside, your heart, your determination, your perseverance that creates who we are. But you brought up a very relevant point, and I really want to know this because I love who you are as a fighter, but because you brought up pride, but what does pride, passion, and perseverance truly mean to David Estrada?
Never never quitting and giving it everything that you got, like everything in you. I tell these fighters that I train all the time, I say, nah, you gotta fucking fight harder. Like you're not giving me all you got. I need everything that you got. I need all of it. Or else you're cheating me and you're cheating yourself. I need you to fight with everything you got. This is not a fucking thing where you're gonna coast. No, you're gonna get tired. You're gonna get hurt, but you're gonna come back from that. And that's how you're gonna win fights. What fighter, like, I mean, everybody gets tired when they fight. You got the guys that put the pressure, or you got these defensive gurus. You're still gonna get tired no matter what. But guess what? That's why you train hard, because you get tired, you recover, and you keep fighting. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're never gonna get tired in a fight. You might never get tired if you don't push yourself, if you don't really fight. You know what I'm saying? I train guys to fight. You gotta fight. You're not gonna be in there coasting. No, you're gonna fucking fight. If you're boxing, you're gonna box 100%. Not gonna give.
Oh, he got another phone call. He'll be right back. We'll give him just a second. I'll take the time when we get him back on. I'll take the time. I want to apologize to everybody. I know you guys hear the roof noise, but for some reason, it's he keeps getting phone calls, and when Androids and iPhones, there's a lot of times there's technical difficulties because the programs don't work with Safari or Firefox or anything like that. And he's back on now, so we'll go ahead and just jump from there.
So I'm back.
There you go, brother. Hey, you're good, bro.
All right.
Hey, I don't let the small shit. These shows like this, I used to get so pissed off, bro. 23, 24 years ago, I used to get so pissed off, and my wife said, "Why are you mad?" Well, I'm a harshest critic because it's my name.
Yeah.
And then 4 or 5 days later, I turn around and I'd go look at, because I was on iHeart, and I'd go look at my my ratings, and the show that I hated did the best. The show that I had the most technical difficulties with far surpassed any other show I did. I was like,
right.
What, you just got to take, because life is going to come at you in every different. But to answer, what we were just talking.
You got to roll with the punches.
Yeah. Oh yeah, But John Bernard says, "Haha, for me, I call it honoring my people. If I lose, my people lose. I'm carrying my people on my back." He's a Pacific Islander, and that's a guy I told you that took the 10-year layoff and just won. Yeah. I that's one thing. I lost you again. You're back. That's one thing I like about when I was the head of athlete development and all the agents and directors for Jackson Wink worldwide. And I'll tell you what, the South African people,
people from I gotta move, bro, because I gotta put the phone in the charger. Give me a second.
Oh, you're good, bro. I'm not gonna keep you much longer. I didn't realize we were already on here that long.
All right, hold on. Let me just plug this charger in. If it ain't one thing, it's another, right?
Hey, I'm just rolling with it, bro. I got David Estrada on my show, King David. So I ain't even tripping, bro.
All right, I'm back.
But it's like I learned that like Pacific Islanders, like from South Africa to New Zealand, Australia, Indonesia, Hawaii, they're really chill people, bro. They're really good people. If you see people commenting, most people are commenting out of Canada. It's like I'm loved more in other countries than I am my own, which is a trip, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask you, because I asked you about pride, passion, and perseverance. Let's add one more word to that: patience. How much patience has David Estrada had to garner over this walk?
A lot. I mean, the 3 years that I was sitting there waiting to get out of that contract was fucking patience.
Yeah. See, and my other brother, he came on. He said, "And don't forget Canada." But hey, man, I love people from all over the world, man. It's just I just think everybody needs to just put the political and all this other crap aside and just come together as people, man. Because
Yeah.
we're letting people that we elected into office dictate our life, and there's a lot more of us than there is of them.
Yeah,
But
you're right about that.
you know, growth in this sport is hard, but you were able to accomplish it. Triumph is good and bad, but we learned from it.
Yeah.
What did it mean for you to have the WBC belt?
Well,
Wrap,
I had a WBC belt. I
well, you
didn't
know what
have
I'm saying, not the
right, right.
main one. Yeah.
It felt good, man. It felt real good. It felt good because I'm half Mexican. I beat a Mexican for that belt. You know what I'm saying? I beat an undefeated Mexican I beat an undefeated Mexican Olympian for that belt.
That's it.
And I stopped him in 9 rounds. You know what I'm saying? So that was a big accomplishment for me. But like I said, I already knew what I was gonna do going into that fight. Like when they offered me that fight, I had a big ass smile on my face. I said, this is gonna be fun. I said, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. I started that fight off with a fucking right hand. I fucking I remember how the first punch that I threw was a right hand, and I nailed him with it, and he was like, "Oh shit," and I was like, "Yup, the whole fight's gonna be like this."
Yeah, get used to it because I'm gonna be up in your face.
Yep, exactly. Like that's the way I fought. I fight all my fights like that. I'm just aggressive.
I would, I'm gonna see if one of my sponsors. I'd like to get John Bernard up there with you for a couple weeks just to cross train because, bro, you're one hell of a champion. But the best way to explain it is you look at Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, great fighter, better trainer. And then he was training Scotty the Bulldog Olson and other people at the time, and Jerome Coffey was just ending his career and just starting to pick up training. But Jerome had something that a lot of the people didn't. He had the ability to communicate with the fighters on a much easier level. When he had Scotty the Bulldog Olson and he was training him, he told him, punch him in the hip, punch him in the hip. We all know it's illegal, but we know as a boxer, it's a great tool to have in your
Yeah.
arsenal. What do you think it is in David Estrada's walk that allowed you to be such a mentor? Now, I know the family was great. The upcoming was nothing too traumatic, but you chose to dedicate your life to other people. That's something a lot of people don't do. That takes a special individual
You
to
can't be
dedicate.
selfish, that's for sure. You can't be
Yeah.
selfish.
No,
Yeah.
well, it takes away from you. It takes away from your family.
Yeah.
It takes away from life, but it holds a special place in your heart. What would you like to say to the people that have came to David Estrada to gain that knowledge and have become a much better fighter? What would you like to say to them for entrusting in you and believing in you?
I like to tell them thank you for giving me a chance to prove to you that I deserve this spot. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember there was a lot of people that wanted to be involved with me besides my trainers when I was coming up, and I was like, nah, man, like I don't want that person around me. I don't know that person. I don't want them around me. I don't care what they did for whoever. Like I got my team. So that's how I was. So but a big part of it is that my partner Javier Centeno, which is the head coach, he put me in that position, but I had to gain the trust of the fighters. It's not just like, I'm there and this is who I am, and now you got to listen to me. Because I mean, how many times have you seen a trainer tell a fighter what to do and the fighter doesn't do nothing that he does? They're only going to do it. They're only going to do it if they trust you and if they know that what you're telling them is right. So I had to build that, and I'm glad to be in the position, but it makes me happier than having the position that they trust me with their life. Because when you listen to a trainer, you're basically trusting them with your life. I tell all these fighters, I say, listen, this shit ain't no fucking sport. I mean, it's a sport, but it ain't a game. Like, you can, every time you fight, every time you spar, there's a chance that you can die. Like, it sounds fucked up, but it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm gonna tell you how it is. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's dope because, you know, I had a mentor like you back when I was a kid, and that was Pete Ranzani, Pistol Pete Ranzani. You know, me, Tony the Tiger Lopez, Loreto Garza, and Sal Lopez. We used to steal car stereos when we were kids, and we used to cause havoc at Hiram Johnson in California.
You talking about Sal Lopez that had the braids?
Yeah.
I know Sal, man. I haven't seen. He used to be on my Facebook. I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, I haven't, man. Matter of fact, one of his old homeboys hit me up the other day and asked me the same thing. Have you heard from Sal? And I was like, no, but you know, me and Tony and all that, we all came up, and Pete Ranzani, you know, put his foot in our ass because we were stealing car stereos, causing trouble, but we didn't know that we were going to end up in boxing, bro. None of us did.
Yeah.
We were just little shit starters. But you know, life has ways of doing that. Man, I'm only going to ask you a couple more questions, but I'm going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up the show. Fine with you. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
BYB Bare Knuckle hits the Big Easy for the first time Saturday, July 13th from the John A. Alario Event Center for BYB 28. Bourbon Street Brawl. Two of the biggest and baddest bare knuckle fighters in the world today go toe-to-toe inside the mighty Trigon as undefeated BYB heavyweight champion Hurricane Ike Villanueva takes on number one contender, the Cuban assassin, Gustavo Trujillo, for both the BYB heavyweight belt and the historic Police Gazette World Diamond Belt. Our co-main event, former BYB lightweight champion Monica Medina gets her wish and steps into the Trigon against undefeated Helen Peralta for the inaugural BYB Featherweight World Championship. Catch these matches and more live. Visit BYBExtreme.com for tickets and information.
Man, I need to get you on BYB, bro.
Yo, I'm here.
I need to get you on there. You know, I think you'd be great in BYB, man. Is your style was just for bare knuckle fighting, BYB Backyard Brawl.
Oh, okay.
BYB Extreme. It's out of Florida, brother. It's a Miami-based promotion, and the owner is a Cuban immigrant and a tremendous man in my life. He's a great dude.
Oh, that's cool.
My brother, we're gonna wrap things up, but my brother from Canada says, he says, hurrah, I like that comment. I beat a Mexican in that fight, an undefeated Mexican. He says, respect, love it, simmer salute. I've been watching you forever. I gotta admit, I beat an undefeated Mexican.
I beat look, I'm half Mexican and I beat an undefeated Mexican Olympian.
Right? And my brother says, that's the truth right there. And you know what's crazy? Everybody thinks I'm Mexican. And I'm
Mexican too. Shit, you ain't Mexican?
No, I'm Cherokee and Irish.
All right, you're basically Mexican then.
Yeah, Mexican that can't drink. It's funny, but you know, brother, I'll hook you up with the matchmaker, Mel. I'll let you guys talk because you know that's your business. But I think you'd be great in our promotion. The promotion is tremendous. You know, Mike Goldberg is one of our commentators. Paulie Malignaggi is another one. Claudia Trejos and Benny Ricard. It's just I'll put it to you this way, bro. I'm on a handshake contract with the owner of this promotion. He's the only promoter in 40 years that I trusted. And
Right, right.
I worked with Don King, I've worked with everybody, and nah, these people are real, bro. And I'll tell you the reason why I think you'd be good here. When I had Mike on my show with the CEO, Greg Bloom, Mike said, I'm not building something shiny to sell it. He said, I'm building a glass house so everybody can see what I'm doing. I'm building a foundation, he said, because I want my promotion to be here for my family and for the fighters 50, 60 years from now. This man is willing to take money out of his own pocket to make sure this succeeds. And you don't find that in this industry. You know, a lot of these promoters, they want to take, they
Right,
don't want
right.
to give back. But brother, I got one more question, and a lot of the fighters like this question because everybody gives a different answer, but it's the end of the night. You just got through training fighters all day, getting your workouts in. The gym is empty, and you go to walk out the door, and you go to turn off the light switch, and for some reason you look into the mirror and you get a reflection deep into the soul of David Estrada. Who do you see?
I see a lot of things. I see a teacher, a friend, um, psychologist, uh, what else? A
But
fighter,
how
definitely.
but how does it define you, bro? Because it's like self-reflection is a really deep thought. We see where we're succeeding, we see our mistakes, and we take things from that. You know, I guess the better way to put it, I'll put it to you in a different context. You're walking down a pathway in a park and you come upon a puddle, and for that brief moment you get a reflection into who David Estrada is. What do you see, and how has it defined you?
Or in one word, I'll tell you like this: warrior. Just in one word, like all around every aspect of life, I'm a warrior. Plain and simple.
That's dope. If you had to give a message to the kids about what sports can give to them and why it would be a better way for them to spend their time than sitting on street corners and getting into trouble, what would those words be, brother?
Boxing saved my life.
That's beautiful. And the last thing I got for you, man, is thank you for coming on my show.
Hey, thanks for
This
having me,
this
bro.
this made my day. I don't give. I'll be honest with you. I don't give a crap if anybody else liked this show. This show was for me, bro. You know, man, your career is it was just dope. You
Thank
know
you, man.
the
I appreciate that.
well, because man, it's like to be through all the fights that you have been through and still inspire people. It's just tremendous, man. And like Gordy said, I see a leader.
I
You know,
appreciate that too.
how does stuff like that make you feel, bro? Because I'm one of them people that I don't handle compliments like that. But how does that make you feel when people tell you, man, they're proud of you, you're a leader, you've changed their life, you changed your kids' lives, you created greatness for them. I mean, how does that make you feel as a man?
It makes me feel real good, man. It's a blessing, the I love it when like when I do something, for anybody, like I don't do it because I want any type of gratification for it, whether it be self gratification or gratification from that person. I just do it because this is who I am. But when somebody tells you something like that, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, that's that's money right there. You know what I'm saying? That's big money. Like right there, that makes me feel good about myself, and it makes me feel good because I know I'm doing God's work. You know what I'm
Amen.
saying? I know I'm doing God's work. Like I know I've helped save some lives. I know that I've, in more ways than one. I'll give you a quick story. There was this little Colombian girl that I used to train. She was a bartender. She was probably 5'1" and maybe like 120 pounds. And she was a bartender. And I used to train her 3 times a week. And one day she came to our training session and she was like all excited. And she's like, oh my God, I gotta tell you, you ain't gonna believe this shit. You ain't gonna believe what happened. So I had already been training her for about 5 or 6 months. She told me the story. She said, I was bartending and this she goes, this big bitch, she fucking threw a drink in my bar back's face, and her bar back was a little person like her, right? She said, I don't know what happened. All I remember is next thing I know, I'm up in the air, and the big security guard that works with us had me up in the air, and he's telling me that calm down, calm down. I'm gonna put you down, but you gotta calm down. He put her down, and this big ass girl was on the floor full of blood. And she said, I don't even know what happened. She goes, he told me I hit her with like 5 or 6 punches, but like this girl was like 3 times her size. You know what I mean? It was like
Damn. Yeah.
a manly girl. You know, and then when she told me that, I was like, you see, this shit really works. And she started laughing and she goes, that's why I'm gonna keep paying you.
I love that. That's dope, bro.
That
You
was a
know
good
what,
one.
brother? Thank you for creating opportunities for the future. Like I said, this world's turned upside down, and you give people like me, old men like me, hope and faith that the sport will continue because I'm probably twice your age, bro, but I'll be 62 on the 23rd in 3 days. But
Well, happy birthday, man. Happy birthday.
hey, thank you, Kana. But the thing is, people like you are the ones that truly make a difference in this sport because, like I said, man, a lot of us old diehards that came from boxing, we're losing what we love, and it's people like you that are giving it back to us. You know,
Well, we got to keep doing it, man, so that the sport doesn't completely change. You know, like you spoke earlier on how the sport's changing, and the way my shut up, man, my dog's talking to me. But my way of training fighters is I try to instill some of my ways into them. Like I make them tougher because to be honest with you, I don't think the toughness is not the same now as it was like 15 years ago. You know what I mean? It's different now. It's so I make these fighters tough. You know what I mean? Like mentally and physically. You know, so I think that's gonna be the way that we could keep some of this old school ways of thinking in boxing. You know.
so I love that, man. I love it that you do that, bro, because you and others like you keep me going, man. That's this what the sport needs, and like Robert Hernandez says, facts. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you picked up where we left off, and I want to thank you for that because that's just truly amazing. One of my greatest brothers, Kelly Pavlik. A lot of people talk so much crap about him and say he's this and he's that, but bro, they don't know the man. See, that's why I do my show this way because I want people to get to know the man. But you had Commissioner Randy Gordon saying, "Oh, he's a drunk. He left the sport broke." Kelly Pavlik didn't leave this. He didn't leave this sport broke. He walked away with $1.3 million, and what is he doing? He's got 3 gyms. He's throwing fights up in Ohio. And he hasn't touched a drink in God knows how long. So I want people to understand in this sport, what you say can ruin somebody's walk, can ruin
Yeah.
somebody's opportunity. So before people like Randy Commish Gordon and others go out there and say things that aren't necessarily true, do your homework. because you don't know whose career, whose life or walk you're going to screw up. And, like with me, if I make a mistake in life or on a show, I admit it on a live show. I don't have a problem with admitting I made a mistake and owning up to it. But that's the way I was raised.
Yeah.
People aren't raised that way anymore, man. I used to hate not coming up with a father, but it made me a better man not having one. And a lot of people won't understand that, but I think you do. David, thank you for what you brought to the sport. Thank you for what you continue to do in the sport, brother. I'm gonna hook you up with Mel tomorrow and see what we can work on that level. But thank you for honoring my show. Thank you for honoring my listeners, brother. You made my night fun. I don't give a shit that we had technical difficulties. I don't care, bro. I don't care at all, man. You're a solid dude. And my brother, I love this dude to death, man. He said confidence beats arrogance. And it truly does. But my man, I'm gonna hand the mic to you. If you have any friends, family, anything else you'd like to add to the show or sponsors, or just give a shout out. The floor is yours, brother.
Shout out to Sweatbox Boxing Gym, head coach Javier Centeno, and all our fighters that we train. And be looking out for us because we're coming.
Amen. Hey, one last comment. And I know everybody's comment, but I can't keep taking away from David. Stephen Blair, a tremendous referee. He went into the National Boxing Hall of Fame with me, and he's a WBC representative. And I'll tell you what, this gentleman has dedicated 56 years of his life to this sport. And I want to thank you, Stephen, because what you started, I picked up, and where I left off, David picked up, and that's the way the sport's supposed to be. I mean, that's just beautiful because me, Stephen Blay, and Bill Clancy are best of friends. We talk to each other almost every day, brother. I'm gonna have you back on probably in about a month, and we're gonna make sure we don't have no technical difficulties.
All
Today was a learning curve for us, but I think I'm gonna bring you on with a special guest from your life and make your night special, bro, because you made my night special tonight. And I want to thank you, man. God bless you. God bless your family, and keep changing the world, man, because you're one of the best. Stephen Blay, the WBC representative and referee, says David is the next generation.
I
Told you
seen it.
so.
Now I can see the comments now. I don't know why I couldn't see them before. I just saw that.
Yeah, but
That's dope.
and like Gordy says, repeat for sure. That's when you know you got somebody good in the sport
All
because
right.
what we pick up where others left off. That just shows how much we care and how compassionate and how much we love what we do. Brother, keep making a difference. I'm honored. Thank you so much again for making
Thanks
my
for
night.
having me, brother. Appreciate it, man. It was good.
Anytime, brother.
All right.
But we're gonna make a good show and we'll get it out there and do it right. This was a learning curve, but we're gonna fix it next time.
Sounds good, bro.
All right. God bless you, brother. You have a good night, my man.
Later.
All right. Peace. Later. I apologize for the technical difficulties tonight, but when you have an iPhone, it doesn't always correlate with Android apps. But man, I'm stoked. Thank you, Robert. Thank you so much for getting David Estrada on my show tonight. I know it wasn't the best show in the world, but this one sat in my heart. And Stephen, I can't wait for me, you, and Bill Clancy, November 29th, to walk into the International Hall of Fame in Dallas, Texas. This is going to be one of the greatest moments of my life. So with that being said, everybody call Steven a pendejo. I love to just tease my brother Steven. I love you, bro. With that being said, hey, repeat for sure. No, and this is one of my best brothers in life. He says, looking forward to the next show for sure. Thank you, bro. In 3 days, it's my birthday. And in excuse me, a little over 2 weeks, They're going to redo my cervical spine. But next week we've got Ike Villanueva and I believe Monica Medina and another fighter coming on next week. And we also have Robert coming on. So we're going to be packed next week. With that being said, thank you all. I don't promote my show or pay for promotion. I don't take money from people. And so if you can just give the page a like or a share, I'd greatly appreciate it. Tonight's show wasn't the best. Tonight's was not an average show at all, but it still sits in my heart very deep because David Estrada is just a beast. With that being said, have a good night and God bless.